Hey guys, Luke Inman back again in the cold Omaha studios with another Viking video breakdown. Linval Joseph has started to garner some national respect in his third year in a purple and gold jersey, but is still nowhere near to being a true household name. Just over 2 years ago, when head coach Mike Zimmer took over, he was looking at how to rebuild a Leslie Frazier defense that was worst in the league in multiple categories, like points against and most yards given up. And it really wasn't even close. Now, here we are just 5 weeks into the 2016 season, and Coach Zimmer's team is the only undefeated squad left in the National Football League. And it's large part due to the number one defense in the league. And in a game that starts and ends up front, Linval Joseph may not be the most widely known player, but flip on the tape, and it's obvious to see why he makes everyone's job around him easier, and is a big reason the defense is catapulted from dead last in the league all the way up to number one. To be a dominant nose tackle in the middle like Linval Joseph, you have to have a handful of perfected traits, but perhaps none more important than raw, unsolicited big boy strength, which Joseph carries in spades. Coming out of East Carolina, Joseph put up 39 bench reps at the combine in combination with his 34.5-inch arms, and it was clear he had the raw physical tools to be molded. Joseph's strength versus the run is so obvious from the get-go, as he consistently is winning one-on-one battles and pushing his opponent backwards an average of 3 yards into the backfield, blowing up the play before it starts, and giving the running back a giant boulder to try and run around immediately after receiving the handoff. Oftentimes, this leads to the ball carrier trying to cut back or bounce the play to the outside, where there's typically a slew of purple defenders waiting, a prime example of why Joseph's stats don't come close to representing his dominant play revealed on the tape. Defending the run has many more nuances than you might think, like more gap responsibilities and understanding of different offensive blocking tendencies. Linval's outstanding at all of these aspects, like here with his ability to hold his man at the point of attack with his strength while keeping his head and eyes up on the ball carrier the whole time, ready to mirror his every move. Once locked on, notice how Linval is strong enough to hold his opponent in check at a distance with his fully extended arms, leaning him into the would-be running lane, while also keeping his ultra-wide base and opposite foot in the bucket of the cutback lane if and when the ball carrier decides to cut the play back. The ability to knock out two running lanes at once is uncanny, and a huge reason running backs have little to no room to work with when Joseph is on the field. Things get interesting, though, when you add in Joseph's ability to not just be strong, but to get slippery in tight spaces as well. For a 330-pound big man in the middle, Joseph has really honed his hand technique under coaches Mike Zimmer and Andre Patterson. Opposing interior linemen know how low they must get to even have a chance at keeping Joseph idle and at bay with leverage, which is where he takes advantage of overreaching and leaning blockers. With his subtle and sudden swim and rip move, he has quietly developed thanks to his outstanding hand technique. The result often leaves his opponent gasping for air face down in the mud, and Joseph free to wreak havoc in the backfield. Of course, it's easy to assume a 330-pound nose tackle like Linval is going to move like a statue, but that is anything but the case. Watch how light-footed he is and how nimble he can move both side to side laterally and north and south while he's penetrating the backfield and disrupting the pocket. Ask any quarterback and he'll tell you the most disruptive and detrimental force to try and work against is interior pressure. Being unable to step up into a clean pocket can quickly ruin any QB's once clean and pristine throwing mechanics, forcing passes to sail wildly inaccurate, thanks to a guy like Linval driving his opponent backwards into their own signal caller. With 3 sacks already this year, Joseph is proving his worth and forcing Zimmer to contemplate leaving him on the field on all 3 downs. So there you have it. While most of his peers and fellow nose tackles throughout the league are one-dimensional by all accounts, under Coach Zimmer, Linval Joseph has developed his once raw skill sets and attributes into one of the most dominating and consistent interior defensive linemen in the game today. With his ability to be equally disruptive versus the run and the pass while creating splash plays and big stats for his teammates, Joseph is a player who must be double-teamed and game planned against on a week-to-week and down-to-down basis, as he can single-handedly change the outcome of a game from inside the trenches. Stay tuned for plenty more Vikings video breakdowns. For everybody at Cold Omaha and coldomaha.com, I'm Luke Inman, signing out.